Hello students, welcome to today's session of chemistry. As you all know, we have started studying 5th lesson of your syllabus, that is electrochemistry. Before starting today's session, let us just revise what we learned in the previous session. In the previous session, we learned measurement of conductivity. In that, we learned that the conductivity of a solution can be determined from the resistance measurements by Wheatstone bridge. So, for that we learn about conductivity cell, how it is prepared, how it is connected to Wheatstone bridge, and by using Wheatstone bridge, how we can measure resistance, and then by using the formula, we can determine conductivity. And from conductivity, we can calculate molar conductivity. So, we learned about it in detail in the previous session. Based on those formulas of conductivity and molar conductivity, some numericals we have to solve. We will do one session particularly about all the numericals in this lesson later. So let us just study theoretical part of this lesson first, and then we will see about the numericals in one session. So let us start today's session. In today's session, we are going to learn about electrochemical cells. An electrochemical cell, basically it consists of two metal plates, or we can use carbon, that is called graphite rods instead of metal plates also. And these two plates are dipped in an electrolytic or ionic conductor. To prepare a cell, we have to take one vessel in which we have to dip two metal plates in an electrolytic conductor. What is electrolytic conductor? It is the solution of an electrolyte. Electrolyte, we learned in the previous sessions. Electrolytes are only three types are there. One, acids, bases or salts. We can prepare their solution, and those are electrolytic or ionic conductors. So, an electrochemical cell is prepared now. Now, what happens in electrochemical cell? So, the reactions which take place in electrochemical cell are called electrochemical reactions, and these are very important. And which kind of reactions are these? The chemical reactions occurring in electrochemical cell involve transfer of electrons from one species to other. And what is transfer of electron means? That is redox reactions, which we learned in 11th standard itself. What are redox reactions? Where reduction and oxidation take place simultaneously. So in electrochemical reactions also, there are oxidation and reduction half reactions taking place. So, oxidation reactions occur at one electrode, and the reduction half reaction is called, it occurs at the other electrode. That is, oxidation half reaction and reduction half reaction together make net cell reaction. That means a net cell reaction is the sum of these half reactions. Understood? So this is electrochemical cell and electrochemical reactions. So electrochemical reactions are nothing but redox reactions. That means reduction and oxidation taking place simultaneously. Now, the electrodes we dip in the electrolyte, we will learn about them. What are electrodes then? Electrodes basically are defined as the surfaces on which oxidation and reduction half reactions take place. That means the metal rods or graphite rod we dip in electrochemical cell, on the surfaces of those metal rods reactions take place. So electrodes are the surfaces on which oxidation and reduction half reactions take place. The electrodes may or may not participate in the reaction. Sometimes they take part in the reaction, sometimes they are just utilized to carry out a reaction, but they don't take part in the reaction. And the electrodes which do not take part in the reactions are called inert electrodes. And those which take part in the reaction are of two types. First one is cathode and next is anode. Then what is cathode? It is an electrode at which the reduction takes place. So cathode, where there is reduction. So remember these two words or connect them. Cathode, reduction. What is reduction then? In the concept of electronic transfer, we say that the species undergoing reduction gains electrons. The one which accepts gains electrons is said to be reduced. So reduction is gaining of electrons. Now, what is anode then? It is an electrode at which oxidation takes place. At this electrode, the species undergoing oxidation loses electrons. That means anode, oxidation. Like cathode, reduction, anode, always oxidation. And what is oxidation according to our electron transfer concept? The one which removes electron, the one which gives electron, the one which loses electron. So, at anode, oxidation takes place by losing electron, and cathode, reduction takes place by gaining of electron. So, understood? So, we have prepared electrochemical cell where we have taken electrolytic solution or conductor, that means either it is acid, base or salt, or we can say the one which gets ionized, which gets converted into ions, is electrolytic conductor, and in which two metal rods or two graphite rods are dipped. One is called cathode, another is called anode. Cathode, where there is reduction, takes place by gaining electrons. Anode, where there is oxidation, takes place by losing electrons. Understood? So this is basically electrochemical cell. But the electrochemical cells are also of two types. So we will see the types of electrochemical cells. The first type is electrolytic cell and second is galvanic or voltaic cell. So let us see the first type, that is electrolytic cell. In this type of cell, a non-spontaneous reaction known as electrolysis is forced to occur by passing a direct current from an external source into the solution. So let us understand what does exactly means. Now, a non-spontaneous reaction. The reaction which takes place on its own is called spontaneous reaction. And the one which does not take place on its own is non-spontaneous reaction. What is spontaneous reaction? For example, take a water, add sugar in it. It will get dissolved. It is spontaneous type of reaction. But if we add some large crystals of sugar in the water, it will not dissolve easily. So for that, you have to heat that solution. So you require one kind of energy. The reactions which do not take place on its own, but they require some kind of external energy to carry out, are called non-spontaneous reactions. So electrolytic cell is the cell where non-spontaneous reaction is forced to occur by using electrical energy, in short we can say. That means a chemical reaction is carried out by using electrical energy, and the reactions which are taking place in electrolytic cell are electrolysis type of reaction. What is electrolysis? Lysis is breaking. Electrolysis, that means we are using electricity to carry out a chemical reaction. So that is electrolysis. That means in this type of cells, electrical energy is converted into chemical energy. because we are using electrical energy to carry out a chemical reaction. Hence, here you see the conversion is electrical to chemical. Now, one more point is important. In this type of cell, anode is positive and cathode is negative. We know the definition of anode and cathode. Anode where there is oxidation, cathode where there is reduction. But still they have charge. So anode is positive while cathode is a negative. So directly anode is connected to positive terminal of battery and cathode is connected to negative terminal of battery, and hence an electrochemical cell will be like this. So an electrolytic conductor we have taken in a vessel where two metal rods are dipped and these metal rods are connected to two terminals of battery, and then the reaction which is taking place in electrochemical cell is a non-spontaneous chemical reaction. Understood? Now, the second type, that is galvanic or voltaic cell. The scientist Volta, after the name of that scientist, this name is given. So, galvanic or voltaic cell, where a spontaneous chemical reaction produces electricity. So what is galvanic cell? Here, exactly opposite to that of electrolytic cell, spontaneous chemical reaction takes place and which produces electricity. In short, that means there is conversion of chemical energy into electrical energy, because we are carrying out a spontaneous redox reaction in a galvanic cell and which produces electrical energy. Hence, there is conversion of chemical into electrical energy. But exactly opposite to electrolytic cell, here anode is negative and cathode is positive. But at anode oxidation takes place and cathode there is reduction. This is fixed. Definition of anode is made like this only. Where there is oxidation is anode, where there is reduction is cathode. But they have exactly opposite charges, where in electrolytic cell anode is positive, cathode is negative, while in galvanic cell anode is negative and cathode is positive. So these are the two types of electrochemical cell. So let us start study about electrolytic cell, and the process of electrolysis we are going to learn now. What is electrolytic cell? It is a cell in which a container is taken and an electrolyte is placed inside that container. Two electrodes are immersed, or that means dipped, in the electrolyte, and they are connected directly to a battery, or we can say to a source of direct current. An anode is connected to positive terminal and cathode is connected to negative terminal of that battery. At anode, a species oxidizes with the removal of electrons. Oxidation is the removal of electrons. Hence, at positive terminal, that means at anode, a species, whichever is there, that gets oxidized by removal of electrons. In the same way, now these electrons which are removed, those are pulled from anode and they are carried to cathode through an external circuit. So at anode, oxidation takes place by removal of electrons. These electrons are taken by an electrical conductor and that electrons are carried to cathode through an external circuit. And these electrons are gained by the species at cathode and that species gets reduced. That means the electrons from the anode come to cathode where they are accepted and that species there will be reduced. What is species there? We are going to use an electrolyte. Suppose we have taken NaCl. So NaCl will be dissociated as Na plus Cl minus. Na plus will go to, because it is positively charged, it will go to cathode where it gains electron and gets reduced. And the electrons which are gained by sodium will come from chlorine, which is Cl minus, will go to anode because anode is positively charged, Where it is oxidized, that Cl minus removes an electron. That electron comes to external circuit to cathode, where Na plus accepts that electron and gets reduced, and Cl minus gets oxidized, and the circuit is complete. We will see in detail about electrolysis of molten NaCl in the next session. For today, this is enough. Now, assignment. For this time, you have to write the difference between electrolytic cell and galvanic or voltaic cell. The question will be distinguish between electrolytic cell and galvanic cell. So by comparing both the cells, you have to write the difference. So prepare 2 columns in your text notebook and write down to the left side electrolytic cell and to the right side galvanic cell. We will just revise, or we will just collect the points of differences. The first and most important will be in electrolytic cell, chemical energy, or we can say in electrolytic cell, so electrical energy will be converted into chemical energy. Why? In galvanic cell, chemical energy is converted into electrical energy. In electrolytic cell, anode is positive. In galvanic cell, anode is negative. In electrolytic cell, cathode is negative, and in galvanic cell, cathode is positive. The next difference will be in electrolytic cell, oxidation takes place at positive electrode, while in galvanic cell, oxidation takes place at negative electrode. Both are anode, but the charges are different. In electrolytic cell, reduction takes place at negative electrode, while in galvanic cell, reduction takes place at positive electrode. So these are the differences you have to write. So one more difference is there. In electrolytic cell, a non-spontaneous chemical reaction takes place, and in galvanic cell, spontaneous chemical reaction takes place. So go through all the details of these two cells and then collect the differences between them and write down the assignment. Thank you.